Hey everyone, how's it going? Leanne here from Repurpose, owner and founder, where we upcycle and repurpose secondhand clothes into streetwear because we would love to eliminate the textile waste problem that we have everywhere around the world. So today I'm joined by Chelsea, who will be coming in a little bit. She's just trying to figure out how to get in. So let's see if she is in the live yet. Give us just a moment here. There you go. Let's see. Hello. Okay, now she's on the. Okay, there you go. How
I
are you doing
was
today?
literally searching everywhere, like, where is this request? It's not obvious.
It's really tricky sometimes, but it's all good. I'm glad
Yeah.
to make it. How are you doing today?
Oh, bless. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, really good. I'm quite nervous, I can't lie. This is like my first Insta Live. So,
There's no reason to be nervous. So I'd love to ask you, like, do you mind introducing yourself to us a little bit and going from there?
yeah, I guess so. So hey guys, I'm Chelsea, based in London and the founder, which is kind of crazy to say now, of a sustainable streetwear brand called Anima Animus. And I basically started it because I learned so much about like the dark secret fashion, like issues that existed in fashion. You know these things, you can't unknow it. And someone has who loves fashion and just has always been in the industry. I mean, I currently work in it, but like full time. So I just thought to myself, like, how could I stay, enjoy it, but be more conscious about it? Uh, what kind of the changes that I would like to see? So all these kind of like manifestations, I put it into my kind of like hope it's sort of like an ongoing project, what I want to see in fashion. So yeah.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So my question is, I guess, what inspired you to curate this account and just, start this whole entrepreneurship journey? Because I know it's quite difficult, it's challenging, it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, like, what inspired you to start it, and just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, inspired, I feel like always been that sustainability element, like knowing there's so much impact that fashion as an industry causes on our environment and also our people. So that's something that I've always wanted to change in a sense, but I know me and you can only do so much. So um yeah, I mean, I studied fashion buying and merchandising at London College of Fashion, and that was at uni. So um, during that time, I came across a book, and it literally enlightened me to everything that I know now. It's called "Is Fashion It Like Is It to Die For?" Like fashion, is it to die for? And it's by Lisi, and that like opened up my eyes. So I learned, yeah, from that, I learned so much about, unfair treatment of garment workers, how each and every part and stage of creating a piece of clothing is actually quite harmful to our environment, our wildlife, to even our human health. So yeah, like all these things that is really costly for fashion. Uh, as an industry, like we always see it as something, super super glamorous, super fun, and it should stay like that way. This tragic that it is, but it is. So yeah, like that inspires me a lot. And every time if I do get demotivated, that's kind of like what I think about, and it helps me kind of thrive again, like whatever I want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like we all get into those like mindset of like, especially as like being someone in the fashion space, just thinking about, okay, how can I make this in the most sustainable way? because of course, like having that background and doing that research, you understand like the impacts it has and like the life cycle that that product will probably go through and stuff like that. So I agree. Like I think that's super important that you're like really conscious about these things because then you're able to share that knowledge and spread that passion with other people as well. Because I think a lot of times we get into this very easy like, oh, it's so accessible, like fast fashion, it's everywhere, I can order online and tomorrow it's like at my doorstep. So I think like what you're doing is amazing in terms of like, you know, you've studied the industry and now you're like, okay, how do I make a difference? Because obviously there is a lot of issues in the industry right now, and you've obviously pinpointed those, like I guess those holes in the industry, and you're kind of like, okay, let me make a difference by creating my own thing where I'm able to make it a little bit more sustainable and showcase to other people that being sustainable is not that difficult. It's something that's definitely like attainable, and it's something that we all can like you know, no one's perfect. No one's like 100% sustainable. It's very difficult to do that. But the consciousness and the thought of even putting that into perspective is already a step in the right direction. So I really like that you're kind of doing this. And yeah, thanks for like joining me on the live, by the way.
Oh, no, I'm actually so honored. Like, I always love what you're doing as well. You're wearing my favorite piece, the pearl bucket hat. Such a cool piece. Yeah, I feel like sustainability is so good because everyone can play a part and they take on the word sustainability. Everyone has part, so it's like, what part do you play? And yeah, so it's really cool because like yourself, you have a brand where you purpose materials, and that just increases longevity of materials and items, and like prevents it going to landfill. So that's like a way that you're tackling the whole issue. And yeah, from like my, I don't work with old materials, but I do want to source materials. Like making sure it's the most conscious choices that I can make. That's why, you know, certification, asking fact, like how was this made? How did you get the print on this kit? Like just asking those questions. Yeah, that is, yeah, it's
That
cool.
must be a really long process. Like, I know even just doing projects at work and stuff like that, like when you have to ask like 1,000 people, like, who did this or what's going on with this project, or like, you know, just going into depth about things, it always takes way longer to just get anything done. So it's amazing that you're able to still make that time to make that a priority, to understand the whole process that you're taking to make sure it's like everything that you're like looking for in a supplier and so forth. So yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I have a question for you. Well, another
Okay.
question. What is the meaning behind like your brand name, Anima Animus? If I'm saying it right, yeah.
Yeah, so Anima Animus is actually Latin for like feminine masculine. So you know how like yang is sort of like goodness, the badness is good. So Anima Animus is kind of that same concept, but the feminine side of a man, the masculine side of a woman. So that I really just like resonate with this balance, with this sort of not eco, but like this co-balance and coexistence of the two sort of forces, and just this equalness. And so with that translated into fashion, there's obviously like unisex pieces. It's about just mixing yeah, like being experimental, and just yeah, in terms of like a social aspect, you know, like genders being equal and stuff like that. I think it's really personal as well, I guess, because streetwear in general is quite a male dominated space, and to have like, you know, us lot being, you know, females being in the space, it's quite important. So it's just that like that reflection, it's that feminine side of everything, it's that masculine side of everything, and how we kind of take the style, the concept into our like own personal way. So yeah, that was some original meaning behind it.
Has it changed? You said original, so I'm like, has it changed or is it still the same?
hasn't changed. I feel like that was original in the sense like it was the first thing I knew like I wanted my brand to be genderless, unisex. So the pieces, all the pieces that I've created for the first drop are can be worn by anyone, can be like
Right.
adapted by anyone. So yeah, that openness is still there. I
That's
think it's yeah, like whole sustainability element to it now is like more of the meaning, but it's not actually like the meaning of
yeah.
that.
No, I agree because I find that especially like a lot of like the female clothes that they make, it's always like super like sexualized or like tight fitting and like I think when like even today like I still walk into a lot of like let's say Foot Locker or whatever and you know the female version of like let's say the basketball jersey is like a crop top and then the shorts are not like regular, they're like slightly shorter. And I'm like, I like that they're long. Like they're just
Yeah.
like nice fit and you can kind of wear it with everything. Like personally, like my style is like the oversized like button shirt with like let's say a crop top underneath with like ball shorts or something like that. Like super comfy, like very laid back. Like that's just like my vibe. So I love that your brand is just like genderless and it's just conscious because you're not having to make two different sizes. It's just one size, like not one size fits all, but like depending on how people want to style it, like they have that option to wear it however they want. So yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, bless. Thank you. No, I actually totally relate to that. I'm such an like a baggy, comfy sort of person. Rarely you will see me more like girly girly. You're feeling yourself, you know what I mean? Like you have those days, those very rare days where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna dress up, I'm gonna wear heels, dress, whatever.
Mhm.
But like 99% of the time it is for comfort.
Yeah, sure. Like, I agree. I think like very like I can't even remember the last time I've worn like let's say I don't know a dress or heels. Yeah, because it just doesn't happen that often, like unless obviously you're going to a wedding or whatever. But like personally, it's just not my style. I'm like I love my sneakers, and stuff like that. So that's about it. But yeah, like I'd love to also understand like what is your mission and your drive for the brand, and so forth.
That's such a big question. Um, I guess like yeah, what I kind of touched upon with like sustainability, that is like my major mission
Hmm.
or the vision really.
Yeah.
It's all the manifestations that I would like to see in the future of fashion. Like if I had the power to change everything, or you know, like what kind of changes I want to see. Um, just things that I just hope like other brands would have done. Seeing like the power that they have, but they don't currently do. So things like that, where sometimes like in me, I'm kind of like, why are you not doing it? You know, like if you've got this audience, like you can raise such a message. If you got this presence, this like leadership in the industry, like why are you not making changes? So yeah, for me, it's like it's that kind of like not anger in a way, but it's more of just like that fuel that I kind of want to put it somewhere. So with my brand, it's like okay, I can actually do that. You know, I can like say what I want to say within my clothes. I can you know emit the messages I want to emit through
Yeah.
the brand. So I think it's like a good kind of like output for me as well. So yeah, hopefully like other people who are in touch with the brand have engaged with AA kind of like resonate with that and
Yeah.
yeah, like join the mission with me.
No, amazing because I think a lot of times, a lot of like older brands are having like a difficult time kind of getting back into that mindset of like, oh, like we need to be sustainable now. Like it wasn't something that they started with, so they don't make it as much of a priority as, for example, you starting out like this being your very new brand, like you're able to decide these things and really embed that into the future of it because you're starting with it. Whereas like an older brand, now they have to rethink and reshift their whole supply chain and the way that they do things. So it's amazing that we're like now as both like entrepreneurs just starting out, we're able to really make very conscious decisions, especially very early on, like as we're starting out our brands and everything. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it raises that question, isn't it, with like greenwashing? Like you ask them these brands like really trying to be more conscious, or are you kind of jumping it on like it's a trend because everyone is talking about it? So yeah, it's quite hard.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of that, and I just, it frustrates me a little bit because it's like a lot of people who are trying to make an effort, like who might be very new to like just learning about sustainability, might not know otherwise. They might be like, oh, like they're actually making a difference, and they feel good when they're like obviously purchasing their stuff and whatsoever. So it's really difficult, I think, for a lot of like newbies who are just getting into like slow fashion and understanding the industry to just like decipher whether is that is that green washing, or is that a little bit more like sustainable? Is that actually what they're saying? And so I think it really comes down to like really understanding further what you're getting into, and just doing a lot of research. Like if you don't do your research, it's super hard to understand.
Yeah.
Something that you want to see a difference in the future, it's super important to like make that step and be like, you know what, I'm going to take an extra 5-10 minutes and do a bit of research on either their website or on other websites. Like I think there's an app called Good for You or Good on You or something, where it rates all the brands, and it's super helpful because like for you it doesn't take as long anymore because you don't have to like do so much research going through their entire website. You're just kind of like, oh, like let me just go to this website or this app and then figure it all out. And it's just most brands are on there, which is amazing. So yeah, that's kind of great.
Yeah, resource.
Sorry.
That's such a good resource. I really do like that app because they do all like the research for you for these brands, and like yeah, it's just so useful in terms of like the consumer point of view.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I have a quick question as well. I know you
Yeah.
did an amazing job with like your latest drops. I don't know if it's dropped yet. That's fine for the next
Oh,
question. But
not yet.
I'm curious if like what has inspired a lot of the designs, because I've seen them all over, and like how you styled it. I was like, oh my God, she's killing it. Like,
Oh, bless.
so yeah, like what inspired like this latest collection, and what was your thought process going into it and so forth?
Mm. Oh, it's been a while. It's definitely been a long time coming because I've spent like the last 12 months or maybe more on the designs just because like on my in my final year at university, instead of doing a dissertation, you can do a business plan option. So I started like originally my research there and everything was sort of like hypothetical and whatever. But I started like gathering all like the things that inspire me. I just looked at like runway and like trend reports or just see, like inspirational pictures and images on over like the internet of kind of silhouettes I like fabrics, textures and stuff. I collated that all and I tried to make it more like give it a nod to, of course, like streetwear and how people quite like punchy, very unique pieces. But I don't want to be another brand that, slaps on like a logo. I like use like blanks and just have this very easy shortcut way of like creating a brand. So for me, like taking that process and that time to yeah, like research and gather all the things I liked. So for example, I was searching through like just like photography images as well, and I came across Marcus Lank's print. Well, it's not print, it's a photography piece of work. So it's actually now an all over print that I use, and it's like this mountain print, which you've probably seen. I'm actually wearing it right now. So yeah, this was originally a like yeah, a photography piece, and I kind of just, when I saw it, it was like one of those images where, you know, or like any piece of art, you kind of just pause a bit and you really like take it in. So yeah, when I saw his piece, I was like, wow, this is so cool. And I really wanted to get in touch with the photographer. So yeah, like spoke to Marcus about it. He's an amazing photographer. He does a lot of like architectural stuff now. But yeah, this was like a one-off sort of like nature focused one, which I was really drawn to. So yeah, like he agreed to have it on my pieces. So I have it on my tee and like one of my spliced crew neck. So it's like a segment where you can actually have it now as well.
Sure.
I have some stuff ready. So yeah, I had it like a little blocked piece here, and I've got two options of a crew neck. So it's a splice crew neck, and I call it a splice because there's like a zip at the front where you can unzip it, and it's really cool for like layering, especially this like autumnal sort of, you know, layering season. So it's quite lightweight, but it's from like I think 280 to 300 GSM. So it's like that nice mid weight sort of sweater. Um, so yeah, like just like gathering sort of things, and it comes together. So I mean, yeah, even the silhouette of the crew neck, I didn't want it to just be a plain crew neck where you put it on. So I kind of just packed it up with yeah that zip, and then I put it on the sleeve and stuff like that. And then yeah, and then I mean the most I feel like the most difficult and the longest design that I made was the sets, so the shacket sets, which have become like my favorite because obviously I've got so much like into it. But yeah, I've got this in a grey. It's like a stone grey. Um,
Oh,
yeah, like a stone grey print. So all the pockets are functional. So there's two chest pockets, and then two zip pockets at the bottom.
I
Uh,
love Jane.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's a detachable chain. So you can like wear it as sort of like that fitted jacket as
Yeah.
it is. Comes with matching bottoms as well. So you can wear that, or you can detach it and then wear it like an actual shacket, so just like a throw-on thing. So yeah, there's like different ways you can style it, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like just in terms of, you know, when like people talk about sustainable fashion, they just talk about like eco materials or garment workers and stuff. But what actually makes a sustainable design, you know? So I was thinking about that, and I was like, so to make pieces last longer, you want your customer to wear it more. You want to teach them like different ways to wear it and stuff. So it actually helped me also like solve the problem of unisex sizing. And oh my god, it's like a myth. I don't even sew, and I can't sew to save my life. So I was trying to like work out these measurements for the unisex sizing. I was like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? So in terms of that sustainable design concept,
Mm-hmm.
I can make the trousers as sort of adjustable, adaptable, and like versatile as possible. So uh, the the waist is like elasticated, so like yeah, you know, if you got a big munch and then yeah, your belly starts to explode. And then like inside, they've got draw cords, sort of like paracords. I had to like personalize them with like purple, just
Nice.
make it like AA style. So yeah, that's the inside.
Feels and I love it.
Thanks. So yeah, of course they've all got like functional pockets. This is like a zip pocket, and like for the cargo sort of theme, then it's got side thigh pockets. But at the bottom, so it's got like toggles in here that you can just pull on, and so then you can wear it like a straight leg, or if you pull on it then it becomes like a cuff leg. So you know, with this whole, you know, like skinny jeans is dying and all this blah blah blah, like those are people still like it, some people don't. So that way you can have kind of like a two in one fit. So yeah, you can wear it as a cuff, you can wear it as straight leg, and hopefully, you know, you wear your pieces longer. And yeah, for that whole sustainable design aspect, that was kind of what I was going for. So yeah, like hope you like them. They also
Well, and I
great.
love that you've like added so many different like adjustable features because I think like you can adjust things and it really makes a difference because then you compare that with so many other things as well. So yeah, like that's amazing. I love it. And like your whole like photo shoot that I've been seeing like online, I've just been like super impressed. I'm like, oh, I like this. Like, so yeah, that's why I've been spamming you with like a bunch of likes and comments.
Yeah, oh no, oh, I appreciate it so much. Yeah, that was actually crazy because it was the first time like organizing such shoot, and I didn't have any like model sort of like friends. I just gathered sort of, yeah, like London-based models, photographer. Funny enough, like the location was closed off on that day where we wanted. It was raining and it was like an outdoor shoot, but you know the team was vibing. It was, we made it work, and it was just, yeah, vibes all around. So
That's
yeah,
good.
very out good in the end.
Like when people actually want to be there and like you can see people smiling and having a good time, it makes a huge difference versus like obviously like people not having such high energy and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that it worked out and everything was like great. So my other question is what does sustainable fashion mean to you?
Oh, so many things. I think, I mean, to be sustainable is just to be like ongoing, to have this kind of constant rate where, you know, I don't want to say to sustain yourself, like that's not actually defining it, but you know what I mean? Like to have this ongoing thing. I think holistically, not just fashion, like we as like a global community, just we're using like our resources at such a rapid rate that, you know, we can't really sustain ourselves in terms of food, in terms of like electric energy, all this stuff, water. So just to be like as conscious citizens, I think, yeah, just to be mindful of how what and how we consume.
Yeah.
But I guess like in terms of fashion, you know, sustainable fashion to me is just that. Like how can we still create fashion and enjoy style, enjoy bits, enjoy everything to do with fashion, but in a conscious way. So yeah, to me, it's just like asking those questions, whether that be the ethical side. So if brands are considering like the health and safety of their workers, it could be those eco materials. You know, there's really fun new things now. You know, mushroom leathers and this like orange fibers and stuff. There's crazy cool things, which is exciting. It's really exciting to see. So yeah, like all these things. There's so many things. I think, yeah, just to have that question of like how we can being conscious.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like I love that like today we can find, materials that are made from like recyclable like water bottles and stuff like that that we find a lot of times in the oceans and stuff. Like I think Adidas does like a really good job at this. And
Mm,
there's several brands now using it for their materials and stuff, and I think that's an amazing like feature to have. But also just like the way that you've made everything adjustable, the way that you've like really looked into like the workers who are actually creating your pieces and everything. Like I think that's just like amazing that you went to that depth to be able to do that research and ensure that it was up to your standards. I'm really glad that today, like, we have access to these things. Whereas, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say 50 years ago, this wasn't the case. Like, it was a lot harder to find things that were made out of like um, recyclable, like water bottles and so forth. So, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, cool. Do you have any questions for me?
yeah, I mean, I'm always so curious. What are you up to? What is your latest project?
It's a great question. Thank you. I recently dropped these bucket hats not too long ago, which is exciting because I know a lot of people were like, after last year's pop up, were like, oh, when are you dropping those bucket hats again? Like, I love those. So I was like, you know what? Let me make some more. So I dropped them again.
Love.
Looking at other like suppliers or other sources of being able to source a lot of my products for like the next launch, and also just trying to like connect with a lot of other like entrepreneurs like yourself, or others who are like in the industry who like are able to what's it called, who are able to like collaborate with and so forth. So look out for that. So yeah, so it's just a lot of that, and just like also just learning different ways of how I can like keep improving the brand and be able to like serve my community and stuff like that, through my passion for like upcycling and repurposing secondhand pieces. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to next. Also, I forgot to ask you, when are you dropping your collection? Uh,
Oh my gosh.
you have
I
it, or is it coming soon, I guess?
I want to drop it like ASAP. You know, when you're just like done with an assignment and you just want to submit it? Like that's kind of how it feels sometimes.
Nice.
But like right now, I'm trying to finish up the website because you know you can't really purchase anything if the website is like half broken. So yeah, just like finalizing the e-commerce pics and yeah, all that stuff, all the logistical, you know, boring things like shipping and all this. But yeah, as soon as that is done, hopefully by the end of this week, or next week, start next week, it'll be up. So yeah, I just actually posted the product list so you can have like a preview of yeah, like all the pieces in one page. So hopefully that helps. And then yeah, then I'll publish the pricing list next. But yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at. I'm not too sure like exactly when. I guess when I'm finished with the website, like that's when it's gonna drop.
Websites are always fun. Like even last year when I was working on my site, I was like, oh my gosh, this is taking me way longer than it needs to be. But
Oh my.
you finish it, you're like, yes, I'm done. And then like have friends and whatever like look over it and they're like, this thing is missing or this link isn't working. And you're like, like I gotta go back and fix it.
I know.
So it's a fun process of like, just learning how like things work, but also like being able to like customize everything according to like your brand guide and your brand standards. So nice.
I know. That's another thing. Like you shouldn't really feel pressured to drop things, you know? Like you should I guess that's like the other thing about this whole sustainability movement is when, you know, when they say you should take a note from like the music industry and just drop music when you're ready and when you know, when you finish like when you're happy with your album, you can just drop it. It's just like fashion. You should be happy with the pieces and not rush it, not
Mhm.
like do the Primark like zoom and then just like create crappy stuff and then just like drop it for the sake of dropping it to meet trends. So just like yeah, just like music, just drop it when you're ready. So yeah, that's kind of like how I'm trying to like look at the brand as well. Just in
That's
your own Chelsea, like the deadlines are made up. The deadlines are made up.
exactly a great mindset to have because I think like from like back then when it was like, fashion would release like every season. Well, before it was just like on a yearly basis, I'm assuming, and then it went into 4 seasons, and then now like and then monthly, and now it's got to a point where depending on which brands, like a lot of them are producing it on a daily or weekly basis, which is insane that they're able to produce that quickly and have it on the website like ASAP. Like that's insane to me. So I'm really glad that we're kind of pausing that whole way, or that I guess that process of doing things and just taking it day by day and just taking it at our own pace and not feeling pressured to be at everyone's level, especially like these ginormous like big box like corporate like that. So nice. That's amazing.
I feel you. There's a lot. Um, yeah, no, it's actually crazy. Especially because I'm thinking like within like fashion buying, which is what I do like full time, you know, that whole cycle of just producing one garment, you actually have like deadlines throughout. And I think in the fashion, like in the fashion industry, that's kind of like the deadlines that I'm trying to shorten or like to keep up with, and it's really like detrimental. So
Well, I mean, the good thing is that you're able to like learn from that, especially being able to work in that industry and just be like, I'm not going to do that because I know the impacts this has because it's something that you've studied as well, um,
mm,
done research as well. So yeah, that's good. I mean, it's not good that that's happening, but it's good that you're just conscious and aware of like a lot of these things because you're in the industry and you're just able to learn as much as you can to be able to like obviously make the better decisions for your own brand and so forth. So nice. That's good. Do you have
thank
any questions?
you. When are you coming to London?
Hopefully soon after this like pandemic calms down because like oh my god like last time I was in London I was like I'm obsessed like I was literally like it literally felt like Toronto but like slightly bigger and I was like this is well, and like funny story, like being out there like actually inspired me to want to do my brand repurpose.
Oh,
I was just like the streetwear, the style out there was just amazing. Like even if it's raining, even if it's cold, like dolls up like they're going somewhere. And I'm like, that's insane. Like here, it's raining, it's snowing. People are like, I'm wearing my comfy like sweatpants and my hoodie, and then I'm gonna go out. Like,
yeah.
so it's a very different like mindset. So I was like really inspired when I was like out there and then like in Amsterdam as well. So that's why I have like a lot of like shots of like street shots of like London or like Amsterdam because it's just like for me it's like paying homage to like where I like got inspired by just living there you just see so much more and you're just exposed to a lot of different things so hopefully as soon as this pandemic is over I can come visit you in person or you can come to Toronto and I can show you around
Yeah.
like I think it'd be really sick to just like be there in person and we're like I feel like we're really close friends now at this point even though we've never met like in person like you're so
Oh, it's so good what like the internet can do sometimes, I think. Because yeah, even like having you and my sustainable fashion podcast, it was just so great. Like to have other like fresh young minds just talk as well. Sometimes maybe like in your own circles, you might not have these conversations or like these similar interests as you. So yeah, it's so great to like be able to connect with similar people across the globe.
yeah. No, I agree. Like even like when the pandemic first happened, it was the first time I've met like a lot more entrepreneurs through Instagram, through like one of my really good friends, Carlina on the Biz Mixer. Shout out to her. She connected with me online, and we did a live together, and then. We just became really close friends from there. And then afterwards, like I did my pop up event last summer slash fall, and she like literally was like preaching to everyone, like come out to Leanne's like pop up event. Like she was like my biggest #1 fan. I was like, oh my god, I really appreciate you. Like she's amazing for that, and like it's just nice that we're able to just connect and create friendships like with people we don't necessarily like come across like on our day-to-day lives like in person like I feel like lives is such a like interchangeable word now depending on how you use it
Yeah,
but yeah, like during my pop-up was the first time I actually met her in person, which is really cool because she's really nice and really like sweet in person as well. So that was kind of nice. So yeah, I agree. Like the internet is amazing for that in terms of just connecting us with people who don't necessarily live with us, or like who we would normally come across. So I'm like really grateful for it as well. So yeah.
defo. No, I could not agree more. It's been great.
Well, we're looking forward to your drop soon and just getting updates about when it's coming and, going through your whole website. So, everyone, go support her with her new launch coming soon.
Sorry, I have this thing with me all the time because I was just so nervous about this line. Just like squishing it like a stress ball. Yeah, no, I really appreciate you. Appreciate you talking with me, having this convo. Yeah, mad love.
No, thanks again for coming on the live, and I hope your launch goes really well because you put so much time and effort into it. So, anyways, have a great day. Talk to
Thanks. You too. Thanks for having me.
you. Bye.